that's enough of that. Look, at some point, the old the old OBS just stopped playing the intro for me, so I don't know what's happening at any given point. So I just have to guess. I just have to guess when things are going, and when it's finished. So, oh, interesting. I can't help but note that the chat is not updated on the screen. Good morning, everybody. That's not a good start, is it? That's a bad start. Why is the chat not updated on the screen? Why is that? Can anyone answer me that? I bet you can't, can you? I bet you can't answer why the chat isn't updated on the screen. Okay, hang on. Oh, it's going to be a whole thing, isn't it? It's going to be a whole thing. A whole thing today. So, what do you reckon? How do you reckon we sort that? I think if we reset this, it'll reset the chat. No, it won't. Okay, all right, okay. This is annoying. Because why does this not work anymore? Okay, we're gonna gamble here. We're gonna gamble and see if we replace this. If we replace this like this, right? Does that have any effect? Does it, gang? No, it does not. No, it does not. How are we all doing anyway? Hello, plebiscite. Hello, Ollie, James, a regulator. My cat is typing this. Kenneth, how are we all doing? Lil Goth, Mugoshi, Jimmy, Keith, how are you all doing? You all good? You've had a good weekend? Do you know why my thing doesn't work anymore? I bet you don't. I bet you don't know why it doesn't work anymore, do you? I mean, why would it not? That's the question I've got. That's the question I've got. Why would it not work? Given that it works for the preview and OBS is connected to a preview, you'd think it would be fine. But it isn't. I mean, I can see your chat because I've got you in the little thing. So, like, I can see you. Do I really risk blowing everything up and click refresh? Shall I try that? Oh, it's gone. Hey, there we go, gang. There we go. Look, there is potential there for things to go horribly wrong. So I wasn't sure whether we should do it or not, but it was fine. It was fine. We sorted it. We fixed it. We got it done. I've tried praying. I pray constantly at the moment. I've got Mikey's mug that he gave me. I've got 2 of these now. I've got Mikey's mug for coffee time, which is something I just totally stole. Not the mug. Well, I suppose streaming in the morning. No, I'm gonna say he came up with that. Keep a bolter ready on hand in case the horror machine gets any ideas. I mean, it's not a bad call, to be honest, because frankly, oh, don't worry about that. I've got some coffee, but I've also got the normal sized bottle. Don't worry. Bought a town but didn't realise it won't fit on my shelf because it's too tall. First world problems. But I feel you. I'm there with you. It is a funny problem to have, though. Oh, God. Ugh. Weekend was stressful trying to move. Oh, moving house? Yeah, no, it's the worst. It's terrible. Literally no one likes it, I don't think. I don't know anyone who's like, yeah, I love moving house, it's great. There's always a technical difficulty part of the stream, by the way, Lilgoth. I'm working my way back and forward across the chat because I was distracted trying to make it so that the chat actually showed up on the screen, and now I'm all over the shop. You will notice now that there's, where is it? Down there is a member goal thing. it's not the end of the world if we don't hit it, but it would be nice to get a few new members each stream. Not least because, as expressed on Friday, ad revenue is... I actually genuinely don't feel like talking about it is a good idea because it's that bad, it's that stressful. But yeah, other ways to keep things going, keep the lights on, keep the broken machine mildly functioning is extremely appreciated. On that note, on Wednesday we're going to be doing a pile of shame stream. So something that we're going to start doing, which we talked about on Friday, which was sort of like a collaborative idea between chat and me, is we're going to start doing a stream a week where we just hammer away at the pile of shame, because there's quite a lot of stuff that I need to paint, right, and put together. So on Wednesday we are going to paint 4 Lehman Russ tanks. In theory, we're going to do our best. So I've got 4 of these. This is the latest one to be put together. It's got a nice box of skulls on the front from all the people that the tanks killed. They collect the skulls and then put them in a nice box on the front. It's also got a weird back end, but that's just because I wanted more bulky stuff on the back and to put the exhaust somewhere interesting. It's lacking candles right now, but it will have candles by Wednesday. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the Lehman Russes, because with these 4 tanks painted, I will actually have a 2,000 point army. So we're going to do that Wednesday, and that's going to be like an all-day thing pretty much. So we're going to start at 10 and finish at like 5:30 or something. So that's the plan for Wednesday's stream. So the whole point of those, it's a double purpose thing of to try and get through some of the pile of shame that I have. Sorry, the pile of opportunity. It's not a pile of shame. It's a pile of potential. Get through some of the pile of potential, but also try and drive some memberships and some super chats and stuff, and just make it a fun hangout time. And if that goes well, then we might be trying to do that over weekends and stuff. And you know, I'm looking at doing more stuff in the evening as well, stream wise. It's just trying to find a time for it, which is tricky when you've got a couple of kids. So yeah, that's what we're aiming for on Wednesday. It should be fun. There's also another like a Cultist and Up exclusive video coming this week. So if that sounds fun, then it'll be on Patreon as well. It's across members and Patreon because members didn't exist when I started. Like, YouTube members wasn't a thing when I started my Patreon page, and there's like so much support over there that I don't want to tell people to stop and come over here, because I don't. It's one of those things where, you know, switching from one platform to another one it's a pain, and not everyone wants to do it. So I don't want to cut off one method, but trying to share everything across both is difficult. There's no like integration between the two, which is a little bit frustrating, but you know, what can you do? Hello, Karen SL. We are we're going to take a look at the preview in a minute. We're just going to give time for people to get in here. Give time for people to get in. So yeah, Wednesday it's going to be the tanks, and then the week after we're going to be putting together some Sisters of Battle, because we've got to make a Sisters of Battle combat patrol, which I thought actually could be something of a theme. We could go through and like do the different combat patrols. That could be fun. Like, make that part of something we do. Like every couple of months, we pick up a combat patrol and we put it together and paint it on stream. That could be fun. Yeah, it's a pretty bare bones preview, to be honest. You know what? I didn't even put a post up like with the affiliate link for the Necromunda book, because I just had a gut feeling it was going to vanish immediately, just instantly. I was like, if there is no chance that this is gonna last for more than 2 seconds, even by the normal standards. I felt like that was going to go quickly. I take it did in fact go incredibly quickly. It just vanished. The Command Patrol. Combat Patrol is fun to paint. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I might already have the Combat Patrol for Necrons just in sprues. Just in sprues. I was sent the Necron half of Indomitus. I think I was sent like 2 times over the Necron half of Indomitus, thinking about it. So, oh, mind you, the Necron one's gone. Okay, we'll go through these. We'll go through these a bit later. We won't do it now. This stream is giving me life while I sit at my desk bored at work. Yeah. Any chance I have to try and break up the monotony of the day. What do you think of GW upgrading their warehouse? I mean, if they can actually get stuff out to people better, good. Good. It feels like stock and supply issues have been rife for so long now. Anything that stops that, go for it. Go ahead. Oh, don't worry, Shane. That was last Friday's stream title. So, do you want to know what actually happened? What the deal is? So, I use OBS to stream and record, and Stream Elements, which is a streaming software thing, or at least something that you can use to enhance your streaming. You can get a plugin for OBS so that when you stream, you just do it from OBS. It's got the chat integrated. It's got an activity feed integrated. So if you guys super chat or become members, it doesn't rely on me catching it on the screen over here. I have an activity feed off to the side which shows it. So you don't need to be logged into the YouTube dashboard to actually stream. You can just load up OBS and go live. However, there is a mild issue with this. If you schedule a stream, then you have to tell OBS, hey, I've scheduled a stream. I need you to go live using the settings I've set in the dashboard. Because on YouTube, you can go live 2 different ways. You can schedule a stream so that everyone can see it and be ready for it, which is what I should be doing every time, but I forget. Or you can just go live whenever. Schedule streams are better because people know it's happening and they've got plenty of warning, etc., etc. But the Stream Elements plugin for OBS has got 2 options. You can either go live with settings that you put into OBS, or you can go live using the YouTube dashboard settings. Now, I set it to go live using the dashboard settings once, and that was when we streamed the reveals 2 weeks ago. And from that point on, it just uses the dashboard every single time and doesn't give me the option to change anything in OBS itself, which it used to do. And I keep forgetting that, so I click Start Stream, expecting a window to pop up to say, do you want to go live using the dashboard, or do you want to input the information here? And because I think, well, I'll put the information in now, just before it goes live. And instead, it just goes live with the old settings, which is why you got Friday's title instead of today's. So, I don't know why it's doing that. I'd prefer if it didn't, but there you go. See you later, Irregulator. Oh, wow, that was unintentional, but I loved it. It's just the option's just vanished, and I don't know why it's vanished, and I don't know how to fix it. So basically, it's that same old trap where it's designed to make things easier, but it's a terrible lie, and it turns out that what it actually does is just make things more inconvenient overall. Good morning, Jacob. I'm assuming you did all have an extremely relaxing weekend where nothing bad happened. That's what I'm hoping for all of you. That's what I'm really, that's what I'm really going for. Don't forget as well, Doreen is on deck. She is available. She can be made to say borderline whatever you like. Borderline. I think there's a few things that are filtered out, but then again, I have faith in you lot that you wouldn't do something absolutely horrendous using text-to-speech. Although, that is why there's filters. So, there's faith, but consider it cautious faith. You're in work half the weekend. Ugh. Do you at least get, like... Unless, well, I was going to say... I've got a friend who works weekends intentionally because she gets extra pay for it. Sunday was a bit of a what, as in just permanently raining, because that's what it was doing here as well. It's so difficult entertaining a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old when it keeps raining. It's like, can we go outside? It's summer. It's like, it's not. It's definitely not. Or at least it is. It should be. Hello, Boris. I'm glad you could join us. Oh, a bit of an attic clear out. I love an attic clear out. I don't like doing it, and I don't like feeling terrible afterwards, but the process of knowing that all of the stuff that was in there is now gone, or in some sort of sensible order, that's good. That's nice. Oh god, cluster headaches. I've never had a cluster headache, but I do get migraines, and migraines can... as far as I know, cluster headaches are just incredibly bad. Like, worse than migraines. So, I hope you're doing alright now. Is 25 Sternguard veterans enough for an army? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. For now. I mean, it's a start. It's a start to an army. You could totally get a few more in there if you wanted to. I actually don't know if you could. What's the squad size for 25? I feel like at the moment, if you're in the UK, it's just rained. It's rained all month so far. And it kind of limits what you can do. But then, if you're in Europe, it's 60 degrees centigrade outside, which kind of limits what you can do. So either way round is not great. Either way round is not ideal. All Sternguard army is the ideal first company. Yep. Denmark has also had constant rain all month. Ugh. The new Sternguard is it was exaggeration for comedic effect, Tom. The new Sternguard look decent, but they don't look as good as the new ones. They're not bad. They're not bad. They're good looking models, but the old ones are just like, it's one of the best kits that Games Workshop ever made, by far. If the full kit has got the same amount of customization, the same amount of personalization and stuff, then yeah, 10 out of 10. But it seems unlikely that will be the case. It would be nice, but it seems unlikely. To be honest, I will take the rain over the heat any day. I get too hot when it hits like 15 degrees. So, anything above that is nightmare territory for me. The rain has kept things relatively sensible, temperature-wise, for most of the month. So I'm totally happy with it. I'm fine with it. I could quite happily sit there and just be like, oh, what a shame. There's no horrible heat and sun to get burnt by. What a real pity. Oh no. While enjoying myself thoroughly. But currently painting my French army starter box from Black Powder Epic Battles. 15mm minis, over 1,000 soldiers in the box. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's a lot. Exactly, Space B. Yeah, that is exactly it. When you're cold, you just add more layers. Just add more. That's all you need to do. Ugh. So yeah, what was I going to say earlier? I was going to say something that was like member related, and I can't remember what it was. That was it. So starting like, I'm planning to make it so that there's a couple of like cultist and up videos a month, like maybe one a week. That they're not going to be like massively long. It's more just little behind the scenes stuff that is, I figure, more appropriate for kind of if you supporting the channel that way. Stuff that probably wouldn't do well like just out there by itself, but if you're prepared to support the channel like that, then there's probably or hopefully stuff in there that would be found interesting, you know? Oh, getting stuck in on Golden Demon for next year? I don't. I'm always tempted to try it, but I wouldn't get anywhere, and I don't necessarily. I'm not like a competition painter. I'm barely a tabletop standard painter, but actually no, that's not. I don't know. I don't know whether that's fair or not. I don't know whether that's fair. I feel like I'm maybe a little bit better than tabletop standard now. It's hard to tell. I've had like massive imposter syndrome painting whites recently. That's one of the reasons that I think this like Pile of Shame Wednesdays approach is a good idea. I feel like that's gonna help a little bit because I've not painted anything for quite a while. Mostly because I just don't feel like I'm good at it, which is silly because I'm way better than I used to be. But I don't know. I don't know about you lot, but every now and again I just get moments of like, I'm not good at this. I just shouldn't bother, which is bad. Obviously, it's not healthy, and it's also not necessarily true. I feel like, yeah, I'm looking behind me and it's like, yeah, no, clearly I can paint all right, but it's trying to get the brain to believe that, isn't it? Trying to get the old brain gremlins to shut up and leave you alone for a bit. You know what? We've been going for a good 20 minutes or so. Let's have a look at the previews. Let's have a look at the previews. If anyone's missed it, it's their own fault. Harsh. Real harsh. Oh, you know what? Just before we switch over, you know what's nice? I haven't kicked my guitar pedals all morning. I haven't done it once. I just haven't. Since I put that, like, naff pedal board together, it's great. It's really nice. I'm so used to kicking them all over the all over the room. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you in case you missed this. Because it's like it's just like it's janky, but the important thing is it works. So took an old monitor stand, took some Velcro, like sticky Velcro, and admittedly messed it up the first time, but it's fine because now little pedal board right down the side of the desk. I don't kick the pedals all over the place. I don't stand on them. It also means that my amp is on the desk, like it's on the desk right here, and I can still raise the desk to standing position, and the pedals stay where they are. They don't get dragged or moved. It was totally worth it. It was totally worth it. because I keep my amp on my desk so that I actually use it, and then yeah, it means I've actually able to use the stuff. Play something on the guitar. It might end up coming through the microphone. I might have to mute the microphone if I do that. I mean, I don't actually have a reason to not do it, other than potentially getting smacked for copyright infringement. But then if I play something that isn't copyright related, what does that even mean? I mean, I can do. Is that actually something that you want, though? Do you really want to see that? With no editing? It would show me up for being not good. I like how I'm saying that as though it's an issue when I used to do Rocksmith streams on Twitch. Can't do them on YouTube as far as I know. Which were just full of copyrighted content. You know what? I'll just plug into the PC instead of into the amp, because the amp needs to warm up, because it's a tube amp. Ugh. I need to set it up so that the amp goes into the interface, because I think I can do that, but I'm not sure how. I've been writing loads of stuff recently. One of the projects I'm working on at the moment, which is part of the behind the scenes stuff that you get if you're a cultist or up on Patreon or YouTube, is like, it's like an army showcase, but it's not. I don't know how to put it. It's like an army showcase, but there's like a narrative behind it. Like I've written like a little story about the different things. And do you want to see what I'm looking at? Hang on. Let me go over to here, and you can see what I'm looking at. Which desktop is this? There we go. So that's currently what I've got up, because it's a neural DSP plugin which runs through the PC, and I just plug my guitar into it. There we go. That is working. I don't know how in tune this is. I also don't know if this is going to come through the mic. Has that come through the mic really badly, or is it not too bad? I can't tell. It's quiet. It shouldn't be quiet for you, but it should be quiet for me. So it doesn't come through. I can turn it up. Let me get... Can you hear that background hum? Oh, it should be further up in the mix, that's why. It needs to stay there. That's one of the things that... See you later, Keith. Thank you for joining. That's my favourite little thing that I've totally stolen from Rabir Masad. That little I love that. I don't know what it is. I don't actually know what chord sequence that is. Do this for hours. I just love that sort of like ambient kind of just noodling. It very rarely turns into an actual song. I keep holding my breath whilst I play, and I don't know when that started, but it's not helpful. It's like really not helpful. That was actually something that I need to re-record, because I wrote a thing and then never got around to doing it properly. It's just like part of an OBS file, just a random video file. Out of tune, innit? Ooh, hello. That's horribly out of tune. Why is that so horribly out of tune? What's going on there? Oh, the bee! See the bee there? Jesus. What is this? What has happened to this? Absolutely wrecked. Oh, excuse me. I should have done this before I started messing about with it, shouldn't I? Also, we've just got the constant background. The constant background? There's loads of really fun things about this plugin though. Like, the reason I got it is because it's Rabir Massad's plugin, because he is my like guitar hero. There's two people, there's like two things that are the biggest influence on me when it comes to playing. One is Gojira and the other is Rabir Massad, which is a bit, I don't know, I suppose there is crossover there. But there's some like really weird sounds you can make with this thing, which I really like. There's also one that I had the other day, and I can't remember which one it might have just been that. Just so many nice noises come out of it. Yeah, a bit of background hum is always nice, because you... If you do it and then slam the pitch all the way down, you just get that really nice kind of... just drone. Just nice drone in the background. What does that sound like? That's something. That's an actual... That's like a... I feel like that's an actual song, but I don't know what song it is. I feel like that's an actual thing. What is that from? It's Annihilation. It's the first track on the Annihilation soundtrack. But it's with, like, it's done with... I think it's finger picking on an acoustic. I don't think it's electric. Something like that. I think I've just directly lifted that from somewhere. But then again, isn't that what happens whenever you do, whenever you write music in any capacity? It all ends up being nicked from somewhere, doesn't it? There's no original ideas anymore. That's not true. Also, really nice thing about this plugin, which I like a lot, is being able to just transpose. Yeah, there's the copyright strike. I think that was slightly different. I think it was different enough. Being able to just drop it by a load is really nice. The only thing is, it sounds really weird if you don't have headphones on, because you can hear the strings at a different pitch than what the actual plugin's playing. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird noises in here. What is some of these are? Oh, that was it. This is gonna. I'm gonna turn the mic off for a second, because this is gonna. Like the noises you can make with it. Slam a load of distortion into one of the amps, then go into the synth and make something absolutely horrendous, is also something that I like doing with this, because why would you not do that? There's a couple of those. I haven't named all of these. I also have ones that I don't remember making but sound cool. Just like nice mixes of the fact that you've got like a compressor, you've got an octaver, fuzz, overdrive, then there's the reverb and the delay are really good because there's like a bunch of options in them, but then being able to throw a synth over the top is really, really nice. I can't remember what some of these were. What was repeater? Okay, that's what that was. There's also a lot that I just messed with and then didn't touch again and don't know what they actually sound like. Which sounds weird, but some of the stuff that's actually in this thing... where is it? Where's the... That was it. Do you want to see how much effort I'm putting into that? It's important that you know how difficult that is to play, right? It's important that you know how difficult that is to play. It's really nice. Don't have to do anything. Just pick a note, and that's what you gotta do. One of the many reasons why I absolutely love this. Just don't have to do nothing. Don't have to do nothing with some of them. You just you just play one note and it does absolutely everything else. To be fair, I mean a lot of these have got like, this is even more off topic than it usually is for this stream. Jesus. So like a lot of the stuff in here is deliberately taken or like inspired by Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff. So you've got like, when you look at the name of you've got the twin blade dual compressor Chaos Bed Octava. Like there's stuff that is direct references. And then there is the factory presets, which are transpose, behold, retro sounds, could this be a cave? Like, it's just messages from FromSoft games. that's all they're named after. Some of them, I mean, honestly, a lot of these names, not all that helpful. Not honestly that helpful, if we're being real. But it is cool, so it's fine. Also, offer organs. Okay, so that's just massively distorted. Fair. How crystal clean is that? That is pretty clean. I'll give him that. That's fair. So yeah, it's like... I don't know what that means. Like, likely pocket monster? What is that? Oh, it's literally just like a Pokemon theme style. Ooh, don't play two notes at once. Don't play two notes at once. That doesn't work for that. But yeah, it's just Pokemon. There's a lot to go through. There's a lot in this. I use it so much, it's unreal, this thing. I use it as much as the amp. There's also, is it that? Got some like real 80s energy to it. I mean, that's definitely going to get me done. You can't play the theme tune from like Top Gun Maverick, can you? It's just not... You're not supposed to do that at all. I mean, I can't blame anyone but myself if I do get claimed for anything, because... Yeah, you've totally derailed this, Jacob. That's a really nice one. I've not actually listened to this one before. Turn my speakers up a little bit. It's going to come through the mic, but I want to hear it. That's one of the nicest ones on here. I didn't know that was there. I've not noticed that one before. I'm gonna have to remember that. I might genuinely write that down. It's a really nice sound. Yep, writing that down immediately because that's actually really nice. What is it? Airy. I can't even read it. Airy guitar pad. It shall be remembered. Ooh. I like how I'm making it out like all I do is play like chilled out. It's all just chill stuff, right? There's nothing like. I feel like this guitar cable's on the way out, you know. Oh, it's so bad. That is just fully copyright infringement, so that's probably going to get me in trouble. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's stop that now. That was the biggest derailment we've had so far. Kind of impressive in a way how derailed that got. Ugh. Get over there. Nope. Yeah, there you go. Do you remember when we were going to look at the previews and stuff? Do you remember that? Why is that all zoomed in? Okay, let's... there we go. Yeah, that was like 20 minutes of nonsense off the back of nothing. That was just completely... Oh. Yeah, why are guitar cables like bad? Why do they collapse so often and so easily? Okay. What have we actually got? What do we actually have for this? I don't come here to get what I expected. Well, that's fair. This makes me... I mean, alright, fine. Calm down. What is the best war cry in all of Warhammer? War cry isn't something you learn in battle, but it is a great skirmish game. Yeah, alright, fine. Takes up the bulk of next week pre-orders. So basically, if you're not a war cry fan, there's probably not going to be much for you here. I really want to see how much this is going to be, right? This is the big like unspoken question. This is the big unspoken question. How much is this? Because if this is cheap, and I mean cheap, then we're good. We're good, and it's a good idea. Because, you know, everything else has got like a small starter version, so it makes sense for Warcry to do it. I know Warcry is, you know, small warband based. It's skirmish. It's not like full battle. But at the same time, having that kind of smaller, lower cost entry point is a good idea. But if it's expensive, then they've completely missed the point of why it should exist in the first place. So I'm like, tentatively, this is a great idea, but it has to be the right price. Also, you do get two Underworld's warbands, which have been out for a while. Like, I've already got the vampires, because I wanted them, and I know that there's a bit of like, I've seen quite a few people say, well, I already own those Underworld's warbands, so why would I buy this? It's like, well, they have said that you'll be able to get the stuff for this, like, online. I'm sure when they announced it, they said there would be missions for the set that you would be able to download. If that's the case, then that's great, because if you've already got some scenery, you've already got the warbands, you just need to get those. You just need to download the rules for them, which makes it very sensible. But something that really baffled me was the number of people who already play Warcry going, I don't need this, it's just a smaller version of Warcry. Yeah, that's kind of, it's not for you. Like, that's not, the whole purpose of it isn't to get you, a fan of Warcry, into Warcry. It's not to provide you with an entry-level box for Warcry, because you've already got it. You already have the rulebook, you already have warbands, you already have scenery, you're already in the game. It's not aimed at you, it's a starter set. And I had so many discussions with people when this was announced that literally was just like, well, what's the point? I already have Warcry stuff. It's like, well, the point is that it's for people who don't already have Warcry stuff. That's what it's for. Oh, thank you very much, Chris A. Welcome in, Volanair. There we go. We're one towards the goal. Look, has it even updated? If I go back to that, oh no. All right. Well, no, we can fix that. We can fix it. We can fix it. Okay. Hang on. Now if we go back. Why isn't it on both screens? I don't know. Is it? Yeah. There we go. It's updated. I updated it. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Chris. Yeah, it was such a weird discussion, because I put it on Twitter, like the video talking about it, and I was like, oh hey, this is a great idea, I really like this idea. If it gets more people in, then that's perfect, because that's what you want. You want a cheap entry point into Warcry. That's just going to make it more palatable for people to give the system a go. If they like it, then of course, it's massively supported. So there's loads of other stuff that they can get. There's loads of warbands and the like. And yeah, just the number of people who are like, yeah, but I already have those warbands. Or yeah, but I've already got the rule book. Yeah, but I've already got the stuff that you need for Warcry. But that just means that it's not aimed at you. Like, there's Warcry stuff that is aimed at people who already play Warcry, and that's every other Warcry product. That's the main thing. Every other Warcry product is aimed at the people who already play Warcry. The fact is that a £110 starter box is not a good entry point. It just isn't. That is a big ask. Like, 110 quid is a lot of money. And you can't ask people to pay that to try something out. You've got to give them a cheaper entry point in. They already do it for Warhammer 40k. They already do it for Age of Sigmar. They should be doing it for Horus Heresy. Underworlds is cheap enough that you can just get into it without needing a smaller starter set. So 65 quid. I mean, it's still not a small amount of money, but it is considerably better than trying to pick up Nightmare Quest for £110. It's a much more affordable proposition for most people. But it's like, if you already have the Jade Obelisk and Rotmire Creed and the last two boxes they made, then there's no, you don't need this. It's not for you. It's not been designed with you in mind, and that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't. Not everything has to be for existing customers. They have to get new customers, or they have to at least spread out what people play, and this is a great way to do it. I already know multiple people who were like, well, if it's under £70, I'm going to be trying it out because I've been curious about Warcry, but I'm not paying 110 quid. I'm not going to do that because I already have other Games Workshop hobbies, and Games Workshop hobbies are expensive, and I'm not just going to drop it and see whether or not I like it because I'm already playing 40k in Age of Sigmar, and I don't really want to have to, lay out a load for a box. So, well, I mean, the reason it's Underworld Warbands, Michael, is purely because of the size of them. When you look at the size of a standard Warcry Warband, you're looking at least 10 models for the most part. Like the Spire Tyrants, you've got... Oh no, the Spire Tyrants, you've got 9. Tarantulas Brood, again, it's like 9-10 models if you include the spiders. The Horns of Hashut, again, we've got 10. Rotmire Creed is 10. Jade Obelisk is 10. Like, those... They're not like big. They're not like big squads, necessarily. They're not like big squads compared to if you're playing 40k or AOS or whatever. But the overall complexity of it is going to be easier to deal with for new players with a much smaller squad size, which is what they've done. It's like a little sample of it. I mean, honestly, I would have really preferred it to be less than 65. 55 would have made more sense. To be honest, 40 quid would have made more sense, because they are Underworld's warbands, and Underworld, I believe, is about that price anyway. No, the starter for Underworlds was 65, I want to say, wasn't it? We can check. Let's have a look. No, 40. What was I thinking of that was 65? I'm thinking of Weird Hollow. I'm thinking of the kind of what are they called, like seasonal boxes are 65, but the starter being 40. I mean, what is in here that compared to the Warcry one? So you got the Skelly Boys. I mean, it's a good way to get all the Skelly Boys if you don't have those yet, because I don't know if those aren't in rotation currently, are they? They haven't been in rotation for a while, and when they do show up in rotation, they don't come with the cards, I don't believe. So, I mean, it looks like there's more card product in there than in the Warcry one. So yeah, this ideally should have been less. Should have been the same cost. But there is additional scenery in there, which I believe is new scenery. I believe that's new. Yeah, new terrain. So they'll kind of want to recoup the costs on the mouldings for that, won't they, a little bit? It's a shame. I think it should have been cheaper. I think realistically 55 quid would have been more sensible. But it's still a start. It's still better than trying to get people to shell out the full £110 or whatever, because that's just ridiculous. You can't ask people for that. Well, you can, and they do, but you know what I mean. To get someone into it, it's a silly amount. This is slightly more approachable, but it would be nice if it was cheaper. Then again, 65 quid on Element would be way less. How much would Element be? That's a good question.
As person looking into board play, what does Warcry have over their other games?
Oh, well, okay, so Warcry is just generally... Sorry, my voice is going. Warcry is just generally like... It's a faster kind of... I wouldn't say less complicated necessarily. Maybe technically, it's definitely a faster game. Like, it's a lot quicker. It's a lot more streamlined compared to like 40k and AOS. The rule set is definitely faster to learn and faster to play. It's skirmish based as opposed to being like a full battle. So naturally, it's just quite a bit quicker all the way through. Compared to like other board games, I guess it's I don't know. I feel like a game of Warcry is quicker than a game of Dark Souls, for instance. I'm looking over there because I've got a Dark Souls box over there, but it's not as quick as a game of God tier. God tier is great. Okay, I'm just doing a quick look on Element Games to have a glance at the Underworlds, because if we go to Underworlds, we'll be able to find how much. 65 quid. How much off you get? Yeah, so £55. So 55 quid basically, which is what it should be to start with. So if you go to a third party retailer and they do discounts, then it'll be £55, which is a lot more reasonable, to be honest. Thank you for the super chat, Patrick. I hope that was in some way helpful. It might not have been. As in the reply to the question. The super chat is definitely helpful. It's incredibly helpful. I will say, yeah, also, Warcry has had some of the best, like, warbands, some of the best miniatures. They've done so many really, really good warbands for Warcry. Like, I mean, the Unmade. The Unmade is so good. The Unmade is so good. So creepy and weird. I love them. The Cypher Lords are fantastic. I still love, like, I really like the Jade Obelisk. I felt like the Jade Obelisk were a little bit like, I don't know, I felt like some people weren't a fan. I really, really like this warband. They've got a really cool aesthetic to them. Got a really cool aesthetic. But yeah, I do think that 65 is a little bit of a miss. I think it should have been lower than that. I can see why they've done it. It keeps it consistent in terms of pricing with kind of Underworld starters, and given that Underworlds is not that dissimilar in terms of the contents. There's a lot of card in Underworlds though. A lot of card. But it is a shame, because anything that they can do to reduce the cost of getting into these hobbies, they should probably do. You know, they should probably just do it. Also, Weird Hollow has got like the greatest mix of models that I'm not a fan of to models that I am. Like, the mages look okay. The Stormcast casters look fine. But then the Chaos Warband looks immense. I love them. Bunch of weird freaks. Like, these guys, bit bland, bit eh. These, 10 out of 10. Like, look at that. What an amazing warband that is. Love it. Absolutely love them. Oh, you know what? We've got Hexbane's Hunters. I've just realised we've got these. These will have to show up on a Wednesday stream, because got to assemble and paint these. The only thing I wish is that guy had a helmet option, which I don't think he does. Really, I want that helmet, like, several times. That guy's helmet, but, like, twice. 3 times, actually. That'd be badass. Maybe I could cast it? Make a little green stuff mould? Maybe that's something we could try out? But yeah, this is such a good warband. Funnily enough, I have I have this warband, and I've got the vampires to paint as well, who I don't believe are available currently. Yeah, they're not. So, Hexbane's Hunters and Vampires feels like a great themed stream to paint those two. Anyway, let's get rid of all of that. We're so badly off topic today, even by our standards. So we also have new Warcry warbands. So we've got the Quest of Soul Sworn. That's difficult to say. These do look good, to be fair. They do look good. Love giant hammer lady. Amazing. Big axe lady is also cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun looking warband. They're all entirely monoposing, though. I don't think you can get the Crimson Court models at the moment, Craggy, because they are part of that starter box for Warcry. Oh, and we've got these guys, the Royal Beast Flayers. You can purchase the vampires as a unit in the Soulblight tab, but not Underworlds. Oh, wait, what? Why? Why would you do that? Oh, I guess because the... Yeah, alright, I guess because the cards aren't available anymore. But that's still... It's still dumb. It's still dumb. It's an Underworld warband. Alright. Okay, fine, sure, whatever. More interesting decisions. I mean, yeah, I suppose technically you can't use them. You can't use them in Underworlds without the cards. So if you don't have the cards, then yeah, I can kind of see it. Also, direct only. That sucks. The fact that this guy's direct only is annoying because I want him. Anyway, these guys look solid. They've got the undead baboons, so we're in for that. Love the undead baboons. The undead baboons are fantastic. I will not hear a word said against them. They're great. They're great. Love me some undead baboons. And then we've got officially licensed Attaboy Warhammer lanyards. Sure. Why not? Why not have for the Emperor on a lanyard? I mean, this is one of those things where I just see it and I think, if ever there was a product that was not aimed at me, this is it. This is it. I just, whatever. Oh, desk mats. Interesting. So you got a cool one, and then you've got a slightly less cool one. All right. You take 3 steps into a GW store without someone asking where's the lanyard. Well, yeah. Honestly, there's some stuff I would probably buy, but they quite often don't sell stuff that I want. Really, what I need to do is just get around to sorting out my own merch. Because surely I could... Do you reckon I could do a better job than Games Workshop on merch? I don't think so. Based on that t-shirt we made a while ago. Oh, dear. I mean, of these two... Oh, dear. See... I don't... How best to phrase this? This one... Oh, man. I don't really know how to put this, right? So we've got these Warhammer 40,000 desk mats. That was the worst sentence known to man, wasn't it? You know what? I'm going to record this. I'm going to record this. I'm going to record it. Clear the old throat. Get a bit of a drink from the comedy bottle. So just so we can start this out proper. Right. Here we go. These are Merchoid Warhammer 40,000 desk mats. Here's the thing. And this is not going to win me any popularity contest. This, with the newer, darker, grittier aesthetic, is, despite being full of Warhammer 40k stuff, remarkably, bland. It's remarkably personality-less. It's not actually all that, I don't know. I don't look at that and think, oh yeah, iconic 40k stuff. Even though it's made up of 40k stuff, I think the presentation of it is a little bit dull, and also, I feel like that artwork, all of that artwork, loses a lot by being narrowed down so severely. Like, the Primaris Marine in the middle, right? Obviously, he's got to be in the middle. He's a Primaris Marine, poster boy, etc., etc. Because he is in such a narrow box, you don't see his arms. You don't see his arms, and it looks weird. It looks like he's squished up in the centre, which is not actually that good a look. Like, clearly they've done it because they want to fit as many things onto this mat as possible. But I feel like also it's to try and make it so that it appeals to as many people as possible. Because there's going to be people who love 40k, but don't care about Tyranids, or don't care about Space Marines, or don't care about Eldar, or Dark Eldar, or whatever. There's probably a faction in there that they're just not that fussed about, right? Which is fine. But the way that they've done it, they've made it look uniformly a bit bland and without personality. I think because the backgrounds are all incredibly samey. Like, really, really samey. In fact, if you look at that Farseer and you look at that Orc, it looks like they have the same background, it's just one has been tinted red and one has been tinted green. I don't know whether it's a continuous background across all of them. It's hard to tell, because also the mat has not been completely flattened out. At least iron it. At least iron it if you're going to take a picture of it. Like, it looks like a sort of continuous shot in the background, but it's hard to tell. It looks like it kind of lines up in a couple of places, but not in others, which is a little bit weird. Also, the decision on what the background colour should be is odd. Like, personally, I wouldn't have put red behind the Farseer, because you're losing a bit of the detail of the actual picture by putting red behind red, right? Then by the same token, you've got a kind of blue behind the blue Space Marine, and yet you've also got a similar blue behind the red Tyranid, and green behind the Necron that's already got green accents, which just kind of reduces the overall impact of the image. So the layout of it, I don't necessarily think is particularly great, because it just looks a little bit like... it just looks bland, and the choice of background is odd because it's not consistent in terms of how the colour is chosen, and you also have like this dead spot off to the right, where because you've got the Tau and you've got the Sisters of Battle, and they've picked kind of a midway between the black and the white, they've just gone to grey for both, that section stands out weirdly in terms of how boring it is, because you've got Chaos Space Marine with a good amount of colour, you've got Dark Eldar, good amount of colour, you've got Eldar, too much red, you got the Orc, good amount of colour, you've got a little bit of a lessening of that in terms of the background with the Space Marine, but then he's got very shiny blue and gold armour. Then you've just got black and white with red highlights taking up quite a big chunk of this mat. Then you've got loads of green, and then you've got a really rough contrasted Tyranid. Like, that Tyranid doesn't look good. Maybe it's just the picture, maybe it's the angle they took it at, maybe it's the saturation, maybe it's the exposure or something, but the Tyranid looks massively low res compared to some of them. And that's another thing as well, actually. When you look at this, when you look at the overall quality, the Chaos Space Marine looks low res and fuzzy. The Tyranid looks somehow both low res and overly sharpened, and I don't know what's happened there. I think it's just that art does not translate onto that material very well. Everything else looks fine, but the two on the end, they both look older than everything else by quite a lot, and not in a kind of classic retro way, just in a kind of, could you not have done some updated art for this sort of way? So that mat, I'm not a fan of. I don't like that really at all. And then this is where I'm going to lose points. I'm going to lose points, and no one's going to like this. That, I'm afraid, is ugly as sin. that that's hideous. I would not want that on my desk. That is eye-bleedingly just too much. It's too much, okay? The retro one, it's too much. Here's the thing, right? Before you go absolutely wild, before you go mad at me, individually, all of this is fantastic, right? Individually, all of these codexes are incredible. They're great. They're classics, right? Individually, they are fantastic, and I love looking at each of these individually. That's the key. That's the important bit. Individually, they're really, really nice. Yes, they are, considerably older, and they do have a very distinct and different visual style to what we're used to now for 40k and codexes and the like. But they are like iconic bits of art that have shaped the overall feel and evolution of 40k. I don't have a problem with them individually. However, you cannot take... I mean, what have we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. There we go. You cannot take 9 primary colour saturated, massively busy, in your face, bright, different bits of artwork and slam them next to each other and expect it to look not like a headache. Right? You can't do it. It's too much. It's too much. And it's nothing to do with how... It's nothing to do with the individual, like, codex covers. It's nothing to do with how good the art is, or how it's aged, or anything like that. Because individually, these all look great. They looked great when they were first released. They look great now. But you can't just slap them in a big long line with the frame narrowed and just put it on something. Because I'm looking at that, and there is so much going on, I can't focus on any of it. Like... It's absolutely wrecking my eyes. It's incredible. It's just like, oh. I feel like there's so much potential for this, though. There's so much potential for this. Like a desk mat of a battle scene that's all one cohesive piece of art. I'd get that. I'd get it 100%. You took like some of the old boxes, like the different boxes that they've done, and put the art from those on a desk mat, and I would be all over that like you wouldn't believe. Hell, you know what? An example. We'll do an example. Let me just grab this. Come here. I'm assuming they have the art for these, right? This here, right? This. Let's switch back. This. If this art was on a desk mat, I would buy it. If this art was available for me to put on my desk in front of my face all day, I would buy it immediately. I would have that because this art is fantastic. And the layout is great. And it would work really, really nicely. Okay? I would 100% buy that to put right here in front of me all day, every day. It would look fantastic. I would love it. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that because it's too much visual noise. It is an absolute assault of bright colours and saturated detail, and it's not laid out in a cohesive way either. I mean, it kind of is, because you've got red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue, sort of red, mostly yellow. But that, more like that in itself makes it's too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. Oh. There's so many amazing bits of art that people would buy. Like, this concept it's good. It's a good idea. It's a good idea. And I bet you could probably find people who already print, like, the Sisters of Battle box set art on a desk mat. It's just not official Games Workshop merch. It's just so much to take in, and I just wouldn't want that in front of me all the time. Now, obviously, all of this is just completely subjective. Completely subjective. It can't be anything else. It's just an opinion. But yeah, it's a massive miss for me. This is. I wouldn't want either. I wouldn't want either. This one just looks kind of boring and soulless, and it's just the same repeated. Yeah, it is actually. You're right. You know what? You're right. It is. It's the same repeated background, isn't it? The background is exactly the same on all the images on the previous map. It's just shifted over a little bit. So we've got a little dot off to the right for the Chaos Space Marine. We've got the same layout on the Tyranid and the Necron and the Sister of Battle. And oh look, same again for the Intercessor. And then they've just shifted it from side to side. So you've got it same position on the Orc and the Eldar. Slightly different position on the Dark Eldar, but it's the same position again on the Tau. It's just not interesting or fun. Whereas this attempts to be fun, but achieves visual noise as a result. Like, here's another thing as well, right? Why not just produce just the art on the old codexes? Did it spread around to the back of the book? I can't remember. I just feel like there's ways you could do this that aren't this, you know? It feels like hastily thrown together merch as opposed to being, I don't know, like designed to look good. This is the kind of thing that I would throw together on a whim and be like, yeah, maybe we should do this. But then I probably wouldn't do anything with it after that, instead of, sell it. I don't know. I'm really not feeling it. Not feeling these at all. I really do think, though, that if they're going to do a big desk mat, using box art is a great idea. Like, the theory behind it's fine. But stick to one or two things. Don't just ram everything you've got into one long strip. Bice desk mat when. I mean, I can see if it's an option on. I can see if it's an option on Teespring. Sorry, just Spring, not Teespring. Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan, unfortunately. So, Black Library Rise got The End and the Death Volume 1. Wait, hasn't this been out for ages? Oh, it's the paperback version, okay. Gaunt's Ghosts print on demand? Okay, there we go. If you haven't got those yet. Yeah, why not use the art from the Versus boxes? Exactly, there's so many... They've got so much good art. Why are they... Oh, dear. So many choices. Warhammer Plus. I'll be honest, I don't have a subscription to Warhammer Plus anymore, so... Just... Yep. That's all I've got to say about that. The one person I used to watch on Warhammer Plus now has their own YouTube channel. So... I just watched that instead. Easy. No plebiscite has stopped. It's going to have to be cut up because it was very long and rambly. So the other thing that I thought we could look at, since you reminded me earlier, the idea of doing like a combat patrol. Like maybe once a month we do a combat patrol. Maybe not once a month. It depends how long it takes me to paint said combat patrols on the Wednesday streams. But we've got an initial one to start with, right? We've got the combat patrol that we need to build. So we've got this box. Come here. So that's going to be the first one, because the contents of this is the same as the contents of that. I was reliably informed on Friday that same in both. In fact, I can look on the back. Yes, same. So same in here as is on there. The only difference is that that's got a rhino and I don't have a rhino in this box, However, we did find on Friday that we've got an old Razorback, which it's still, the shrink wrap's gone, but the contents are safe and secure. We have everything we need to make a Razorback, which also means we have everything we need to make a Rhino. So it won't technically be a Sisters of Battle Rhino that, you know, is from their range, but it's just a Rhino. Who cares? So we're going to be doing that. We'll just make this into a Rhino, because I've got candles, and I've got all sorts of like little gothic-y looking things. So we'll do that. That'll be the first one. The first one will be the Combat Patrol Adeptus Sororitas. That'll be the first one we do, because we already have it. But then we'll have to decide what to do after. What to do after that. Like what do we go for? I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tempted with a bit of Tau. Oh, Alec, man, I can make it fit. I can look. I have got so much random stuff, so many boxes of different, like so many sprues of different things. Something that I want to do with the sisters is use these candle sprues. So I want them to have like candles and stuff on the backpack. I want to make them. I want to go really grimdark with them, really like grimy and dirty, and with some nice kind of OSL using the candles and stuff. So I'm absolutely going to be covering that Rhino in bits to make it fit in. But I'm not too bothered that it's not the Sisters of Battle Rhino. There's nothing that I'm going to use a Razorback for. There's just nothing I'm going to use a Razorback for. So I may as well use that kit instead of buying another one. Like, it's totally pointless buying another Rhino for, I mean, what? A sprue of bits? Just seems like a waste, you know? I mean, the real differences are just the little bits of filigree on the side and the parchment. Yeah, we've got the double window on the front, but that I'm not too fussed about that. But things like these little decorations, the little ornaments, the parchment, and the purity seals. I've got purity seals. I've got loads of little. I've got like a little sprue of like resin purity seals. So I've got more than enough to make that Razorback look like a Sisters of Battle Rhino. But then it's what we do after. I mean, like, I don't get how 7 Dark Angels and a Redemptor is balanced against 20 Berserkers, a Juggernaut, and 10 Cultists. Look, your guess is as good as mine. I've got no idea how that works. Apparently, they're all balanced against each other, and so it's fine. But sure, take their word for it. But yeah, we've got quite a few options. It feels like I don't think I'd. I mean, same with Astra Militarum. I don't think I'd be interested in doing the Astra Militarum one, primarily because I've already got like AM stuff. Combat Patrol Orcs again, I'm not too fussed about. Adeptus Mechanicus could be interesting. So could Adeptus Custodes. A lot of these are obviously just some flavour of Space Marines. If we were going to do some flavour of Space Marines, their Combat Patrol's gone. I don't know what the new one's going to be. If we were going to do some flavour of Space Marine, I think it would probably have to be Black Templars. But then I hate the Impulsor, so... I don't know. I'm kind of wondering whether we went Tau, because I love the stealth suits. I love the what is it called? Is it the Ghost something? Ghost Kill. I do love the Ghost Kill suit. I feel like we could do some nice grimdark Tau, and we could expand that easily enough if we wanted to with other stuff. Be very tempting. It's definitely high up in the list. Definitely high up in the list, that one. We could do some fun stuff with World Eaters as well. Grey Knights would be kind of interesting. I've never actually done a Grey Knights army. Yeah, the new combat patrol for just standard Space Marines, Terminators, Terminator Captain, Librarian, and Flamers. That sounds right. Actually, I still have the Hansi Farsight. We should do something with him. We should paint him as well. We should paint him. I think I might have the bits for Combat Patrol Thousand Suns already. I'll have to check my bits box, but I think I might already have what we need to make this. I'm not... I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I mean, Grey Knights need an update. Grey Knights really need an update. They're just not the right size, especially now we've got new Terminators. The Grey Knight Terminators looked dated anyway, because all the Terminators kind of did, with like Primaris towering over them. But now they really look, yeah. A new Nemesis Dreadnought would be cool. That doesn't look silly. God, they are getting on a bit, aren't they? They are getting on a bit. I mean, another option is Drukhari, but I don't know how I'd paint Drukhari, because Drukhari look nightmarish to paint. I honestly, you know what? I would love to, like, actually go and play a bunch of Combat Patrol missions, given that they are supposed to be balanced, because some of these just look so not. Like, I don't understand how some of these are supposed to be balanced together. But they claim they've done it, so... I mean, I'm just looking at, like, that World Eaters Combat Patrol, and there's so much horrendous melee damage going on. Well, that's the thing with the Thousand Suns one. There's so many Zangors. It's just like, oh god, why have you done so... Why are there so many Zangors? Don't do that. Genestealer cults could be fun as well. They look so difficult to paint though, Genestealer cults. There's just so much going on. There's a lot going on with them. Ugh. But then again, could be fun. Oh, there's options. There's options. It's the same thing, honestly. I mean, we'll have to be painting some Age of Sigmar stuff, whether you like it or not, because I've got like AOS stuff to paint, including Curse City. I wish there was more in the way of the Vanguard things, the Vanguard boxes that are supposed to actually be balanced for this, though. It's such a pain the way they've done it. Also, I can't get this. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this before it disappears, which is a real shame, because I really want to paint. I want to paint that lad. I want to paint the big lads. I want to paint these guys, right? But these, I have bits that I would use for the bugs, and I would be nicking the bugs for something else. But there's no way. There's no way. To be honest, I've played more AOS than 40k. Last couple of years, actually. I've played more AOS than I have 40k. I do try and cover it whenever I can. Whenever stuff shows up. For some reason, I bought 4 Genestealer Cult Combat Patrols when they were on... Oh my god. Oh. Oh, it hurts to think about. Actually, no, you know what? There is a good number of Vanguard boxes. There's more than I thought there was. That's the worst one, though. Vanguard Fireslayers. Absolutely atrocious box. It's like the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, yeah, admittedly, Nighthorn is a lot of little ghosties, and then some bigger ghosties, and then some of the worst models to assemble that Games Workshop have ever made. But at least you got some bigger ghosties in there, and some triple ghosties, instead of the same dude. Literally 26 times. It's the least inspiring thing I've ever seen. It's not great. It's not great. By contrast, the Gloomspite Gits one, oh yeah. Gloomspite Gits one is amazing. Love it. You get a lot in the Beast of Chaos one, but then again, it's all old AF. Oh god, the Dragon Ogre things are absolutely horrendous. They haven't even put a picture of him in, look. They haven't even put a picture of him in. You can't rotate the Dragon Ogre, lads. You just can't do it. God. When were they even made, the Dragon Ogres? It's the derpy legs that get me. Look, yeah, you can't spin them around. They don't want you to look. They don't want you to look. And they're all doing it. They're all just like slightly raised off the front legs, are just hovering statically. They're so wooden. Oh, it makes me sad. Makes me sad. Oh, Ogre Moor Tribes could be a fun one. Ogre Moor Tribes are quality. Big chunky lads. Although they got rid of the one that's got all the big stompy creatures in it, which is a real shame. See, look at this. Look at this. Dawnbringers. It's the same box. It's the same box, but minus 5 dudes. It's exactly the same. It's why? Why would you bother? You can spend 80 quid, right? You can spend 80 quid to get these. Or you can spend 85 and get 5 more guys. Because they're all the goddamn same. They're all the same. Is it actually the same kit? Do they have more than one kit? I'm going to have a look now. I'm going to have a look. Because now I'm just like... I mean, oh god, that's funny. That's genuinely hilarious. Look at what? Just the same thing. Okay, so Volkite Berserkers is one box. Oh, Auric Hearthguard, that's a different box? That's a different box, is it? Is it? It is! It is! It is a different box. Okay, well, I take it back. I take it back. So, yeah, alright, okay. So you get 5 Auric Hearthguard and 5 Hearthguard Berserkers, which can alternatively be built as Auric Hearthguard. Alright, so yeah. So they do have basically 2 kits for infantry. They've got the Berserkers, and they've got... Wait, what? I'm so confused. Volkite Berserkers and Hearthguard Berserkers. Okay. So the Dawnbringers is actually better. Wow. I just assumed that they had one box that did everything because they look identical across the board. Oh dear. That's just my... The only Behemoth leader is a triple kit. Yeah, there's like 3 different versions of this guy, isn't there? I suppose you get a guy on foot as well. That's something. They could expand on these guys so easily. They could expand on them so easily. They're all like fiery and magma-y, and their invocations, like you get, like why aren't there more of these things? Have them create more stuff out of magma, for God's sake. Also, how many heroes? So you got the Auric Flamekeeper, the Rune Father, the Rune Master, Grimwrapper the Berserker, the Doom Seeker. You got a Rune Son and a Rune Smiter. Jesus, you've got a lot of options for heroes, haven't you? Mind you, I say that, they're not the worst. No artillery, no cavalry. Yeah, chariots would be fun. It just feels like there's so little going on. Yeah, in terms of like an absurd number of heroes, the Soulblight are right up there. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically 6, I think, with the Crimson Court. I can't remember what they count as. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, because there are 3 different versions of those, I think. Oh, no. 16. Yeah, it's just silly. It's absolutely silly how many different versions there are of things for these guys. Oh, no, they are there. It's just wild. Absolutely wild how many different heroes there are. Where's the non-named guy? Because Laukavai is a double kit. It's a twin kit. So where's the other one? Because Laukavai's there. Where's the unnamed one? Yeah, Vengorian Lord. But Vengorian Lord is Soulblight, so why is that not listed? Weird choice. Doesn't even show up if you search for Vengorian Lord. Oh yeah, it does. Alright, but where? Where is it? Because it's not under Soulblight Gravelords, is it? Is it just nowhere? You know what? Sometimes the way their website works is baffling. Yeah, because it's definitely not here, is it? It's not here, is it, gang? It's just not here. You got to search for it manually, and it's attached to nothing. Because you can't take it with. I don't believe you can take it with. I don't believe you can take it with any of the other. With like Flesh Eater Corpse or Night Hunt or Ossiarch Bone Reapers. It's Soulblight only in it. Weird. Weird choice. Or is it a choice? Maybe it's just broken. I mean, it could be either. It is Ruskinses, but like it should be on the tab. It should be on the tab for the Soulblight Gravelords. Like, again, it just comes down to my pet peeve, which is making things simpler and more accessible for people. You could have someone who just doesn't know that the Vengorian Lord is a thing because they're just going off what they see on the website. And it should show up under the correct... should show up under the correct tab, you know? What are these? Oh, yeah, Warcry, okay. Wait, the Khan Wraith... oh, yeah, wait. The Khan Wraith is... in... did I scroll past it? Is the Khan Wraith in here? Because you can't take one. Yeah, you can't have one in Soulblight armies, can you? That's not an option. Why is that there? What? Also, it's still on the square base. Hang on. Presumably you do get a... oh, okay, supplied with a round base. I love that they've still got the square base on the sprue though. That is immense. Yeah, that's not. It doesn't even remotely look like anything else. So, oh, yeah, Sealy. The Vangorian Lord can be built as that or Laukavai. It's just weird that only Laukavai shows up under the list. Yeah, so you know what? It's my favourite thing to do. Look at old. I say favourite thing to do. That's an exaggeration. But when you look at like newer sprues versus older sprues, there's such a massive contrast. Like there's a bit of space going on there. There is a bit of space, but there's not as much space as that. It's just not as much space. It's when you look at squads that the difference really comes in. You know what? That actually highlights a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. They redid the Death Rattle Skeletons, right, but not the Graveguard. The Death Rattle Skeletons now look better than the Graveguard do. Like that unit looks... It just looks better than that unit. But that unit is technically the better one. That shouldn't be a thing. And then you look at the sprues, and good lord, look at it. Oh, this is 10 dudes split across 3 sprues, right? The amount of empty space. This, by contrast, is 20 dudes, and it is spread across 2 sprues. Such a massive difference. Such a massive difference. I mean, honestly, I would be super tempted to just buy more Death Rattle Skeletons and paint them with, like, shinier gear or something. Or give them, like, little banners or something. Just because, oh god, they're just... just looks so much better. It's unreal. The other channel is Horror Show Hobbies, Cyber Ash. There's not much on there. It was called something else, like years ago. But it's being redone. 2 sprues equals 10 guys. Oh, I see. Sorry, yeah. So 2 sprues is 10 guys. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's still 2 sprues, 10 guys versus 3 sprues, 10 guys, which is considerably worse. I can't get over the... Wait, no. No, it's 3 sprues per 5 guys. I was miscounting. Look, you only get 5 legs. You only get 5 legs, so it's 6 sprues for 10. It's 6 for 10, and then on the Death Rattle, it's 2 for 10. I wonder if they're joined up, right? They are half size. To be fair, they are half size sprues. Are they joined? Is the question. Are they joined? Do they have that little gate in between 2 of them? Because if so, that's not as bad. If they're joined. Oh god. Hello, Synergy. How you doing? Oh, they don't have the break on the side. Oh, okay. It's just the space between the weapons. It's mad. I've got a box of older Death Rattle over there somewhere. Sorry, not Death Rattle. Skeleton Warriors. They weren't called Death Rattle at the time. Because I need them. You need the old skeletons to be able to make the crazy undead revenants. I'm good, thank you, Synergy. It's been a weird stream again, but you know, what else do you expect around here? It's always a weird stream. So I reckon next week, gang, what we'll do is actually schedule the stream so people know it's happening. Because it's all very well putting up a member goal, right? It would be really nice to hit 10 members, but if I don't tell people that these are happening every week, no one's going to show up. Which is fair. It's totally fair. It's my own fault. Yeah, Undead Revenants. Alright, here you go. Here we go. So, let me... I've lost them. Where are my skelly boys gone? Someone's made off my skeletons. Okay, here we go. So what you do, right? What you do is you take these tree revenants, then you put them together with these skeleton warriors that you can't get anymore, which is a real problem. It's a real issue. Because the important thing about these skeleton warriors is they have multiple torsos that are just bone. That's the important bit. That's the bit that you want. Because what you do is you take the revenant, then you cut out the torso, then you take the skeleton and you place it in said torso. Do you want to focus? Camera. Like that. And then you have Undead Sylvaneth. And it works pretty well for the most part. Like that. There's a few of those. There's 5 of them. I've got 5 of them. I've got a Tree Lord. I've got Drycha Hammerdreth. Let me grab her actually, because she's fun. Oh no. Oh, it's packed in tight. Also, this is technically part of the same force, even though it can't be because it's not what it is, but it is creepy and weird. And that's, frankly, what I like to make. Creepy, weird stuff. He's got a little pair of hands and antlers and big old spines coming out of his back. I love that model. So, come here. Come here. I started out with that. That was what I actually started with. So that's Drycha Hammerdreth, but with skeletons sprouting out of the torso instead of her, and then with a dead lad in a cage hanging off a part of the branches growing out of her. Got like weapons stuck in her. My Undead Sylvaneth was a project that wasn't meant to be a project. I made this first, then I was like, oh, it'd be fun to have something to go with it. And then I decided to slam the Tree Revenants and the Skeleton Warriors together, and that worked. And then I made a Tree Lord as well, which is not as creepy. Although still kind of creepy. Using a cemetery gate as an axe. Again, lots of skulls. Yeah. So the hanging body is off a scenery kit, but I can't remember what scenery kit it's from. I don't think it's available anymore. I've got one of those left. I'm saving it for a rainy day. I mean, the whole month has been rainy days, but yeah, I don't know what to use it for. I'm determined not to waste it because I'm not going to be able to get hold of any others. So yeah, there's that. There's a giant spider woman. There's quite a few models that I've made for that army, but it's not like a playable army. It's a bit more of just a modelling project than anything else. It's your fault my voice is crying because you introduced me to Moonstone. We didn't even get round to looking at Moonstone on on Friday in the end, did we? Or did we? I can't remember what we did. To be honest, Friday is a bit of a blur. It was a very, like even by the normal standards, a bit of a mad stream, so... Oh, I'm getting hungry. Might have to stop and get some lunch in a minute. I think it is from a Warcry kit. What's your opinion on the Necromunda rulebook being sold out within... Yeah, I just assumed it would be. It's just not surprising anymore. It doesn't stop it being frustrating, but it's just not surprising. It's just like... Guess that's going to be gone straight away. You just know it is. Every single time. Yeah, I do want to try Moonstone. I do want to try it. It looks like fun. And the models are super unique. They look like they'd be really fun and interesting to paint, so... So, the next time we stream will be on Wednesday. I'm going to set a schedule. I'm going to remind people over and over again that it's happening, because we're going to be painting tanks all day. We're going to be doing a bit of a kind of membership drive. See if we can, I don't know, just enjoy ourselves for the day, and we'll see how it goes. It might be something that we end up doing, you know, once or twice a month. We do a weekend one where we paint all day. We'll see what happens. See how Wednesday goes. Either way, Wednesdays are going to be like hobby days. So, Moonstone is basically a more simple version of Malifaux. Interesting, okay. Yeah, I do want to take a look at those, and we can get a box and try them out. That'd be fun. I want to try new things. I feel like we've got a good opportunity to do that kind of thing on streams and stuff. Be nice. Right. I am incredibly hungry, so I'm going to say good day to you all for now. There'll probably be some sort of highlight from whatever we talked about during the week. Well, maybe later on today. I don't know. Conquest, Last Argument of Kings. Oh, Parabellum Games. I have looked at Conquest before, actually. I think they've got some interesting models as well. God, there's so many models to look at and to do stuff with, and so little time. And, frankly, at the moment, given how ad revenue is, money. Yeah, we'll have to look at Conquest as well. Look, this is all long-term planned. Like, long-term plans, alright? Doesn't have to be right now. Doesn't have to be this instant. We can get round to it. It's fine. Yeah, no, we didn't really talk about anything. The only thing we got is a bit of ranting about how naff those desk mats were. But you know what? Could be good for a few clicks. Probably won't be, but you never know. Oh wait, what? Wait, hang on. Have we got breaking news? Have we got breaking? Hang on a second. Better record this bit. So you're telling me we've got breaking news live now as we speak? Okay, we do. Space Marine range update. Bikes, land speeders, and more are soon zooming off into the sunset. Oh my god. It's happening. Okay, gang, let's have a look at this then. Let's have a look. So, new edition of 40k is finally with us, and with that means a new Space Marine Codex is looming on the horizon. Of course it is, it always is. Coming later this year, we'll bring with it a host of new reinforcements for embattled Adeptus Astartes forces across the Imperium. The Space Marine range is already huge, so to make room for the glorious new miniatures, we're letting some of the longest serving kits depart the range for a well-earned retirement. Alright, hang on a second. Hang on a minute. Just a moment. What did I say? Right? What did I say? When they were talking about removing Horus Heresy stuff in order to make room for other things, to reduce the load in terms of balancing Space Marines, one of the things that I said was, why do we still have rules for bikes? Why do we still have rules for land speeders when we have the new Primaris bikes and new Primaris land speeders? Like, they retired the Boxnaut went away. That got chucked. And they took out a bunch of Horus Heresy stuff to make it so that the Space Marine range was more easily managed, and so it was more easily balanced. Why didn't they just sack these off when they were doing the balancing for the... Like, they must have known they're going to retire these. There's massive redundancy in having the old bikes and the new Outriders and the old land speeders and the new, what is it, the Tempest or whatever it's called? Why do it now? Why didn't they do it when they were working out all of this stuff before? They didn't. It's not like they suddenly went, actually, you know what, we will get rid of those. They must have had this planned, so why did the Space Marines list launch 4/10th with a bunch of rules that will no longer be necessary because they're going to scrap these kits before the Codex comes out? What a weird way to do it. Like, wouldn't you just have moved that up? Like what? They printed index cards, and now they're getting rid of these models. What? Why? Why, though? What a way to do it. What a choice. Way to give the people hope as well, by the way. There's so many people who will have bikes and land speed and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, great, they aren't going anywhere. Oh, no, you're wrong. They're just not going anywhere now. They're going somewhere like, what, a month, 2 months after the index stuff's available? It's not even been that long, has it? Okay, let's keep reading. So, Founders First Marines should know no fear, though. Contrary to heretical whispers in the new sphere, they're not being erased from the 41st, I always do that, 34th millennium. So, Space Marines Codex still includes plenty of non-Primaris units if that's your preference. There'll still be tactical squads and devastator squads. Well, yeah, but... Okay, so... Things that are being got rid of. The bike squad is going away, but you can still use them as Outriders, which again is exactly what we talked about. So that's good. Assault squads are going away, but you can still use the rules for Vanguard veterans to play with them. That's an interesting choice. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's going to be plenty of people who are not happy about that because there isn't a Primaris jump squad available. Although, surely that's something that they could implement. Surely that's something that they could actually do. Venerable Dreadnought also stays in the new Codex, but has shortened its name to just Dreadnought, and can be used to represent older plastic or metal Dreadnoughts. Okay, sure, fine. Thunderfire Cannon or Landspeeder that won't have an appropriate analogue in the new Codex, but their rules will just shift to Warhammer Legends, and you'll be free to download here on Warhammer Community. So, what we're losing, good lord. Wow. Okay. There's going to be some unhappy people. Good grief. Oh, thank you very much, Dan Mojo. Welcome to the gang. Okay, so the attack bike and bike squad are both going. So is the scout bike squad and the land speeder. Again, those are all ones that we specifically highlighted as things that they could have just got rid of if they wanted to trim down the Space Marines list and make it easier to balance. And it was baffling as to why they kept them, given how old they are. But now they're actually doing it anyway, so sure. Stalker/Hunter is disappearing. Ironclad's going. I mean, the Ironclad going is genuinely sad. The Assault Squad is an interesting move. I mean, they've still got stuff to show off for the Space Marines, so it might well be that what we actually see is just like updated Primaris Assault Squad that has got some sort of jump capacity. That would make sense. Company command, I'm not surprised that's going at all, to be honest. Scouts and scouts with snipers. That's interesting. That's interesting because, again, there's not really an analogue for that in the Primaris range. The Librarian going, I can understand why that is, because like you don't need that and all the Primaris ones as well. The Tech Marine, we've kind of got... I think we've already got a Primaris Tech Marine, sort of, haven't we? We have, haven't we? Yeah, we have. I'd forgotten that existed for a second. And Thunderfire Cannon, I'm not surprised that's going either. I mean, that's a holdover from I don't know how long. Is the Thunderfire Cannon even plastic? Is that resin? I can't remember. Either way, there's a few things here that I reckon we're just going to see a different version of. So, the Attack Bike, Bike Squad, Scout Bike Squad, they're already been replaced anyway. The Outriders and the Mario Kart were already replacements for that, so that's not surprising at all. The fact that they haven't called out the Primaris Speeder as being, like, you can use your Land Speeder as that, I guess is down to the weapons options on it, because I'm pretty sure the Primaris one has got vastly different weapons to the Land Speeder, so it kind of makes sense why they'd say that, but it is a shame for anyone who's running, like, I mean, White Scars spring to mind as someone who might have more than your average number of speeders going on. The Land Speeder Storm, again, there's not really an appropriate analogue for that, is there? There's no proxy for that Primaris-wise. The Stalker/Hunter, that just leads me to believe that they're probably going to bring out another Impulsor variant that's got some sort of shared thing on it that kind of fulfills a similar role. It's sad to see the Ironclad go, but it feels like they are just scrapping the Firstborn Dreadnoughts. Although the Venerable Dreadnought kit wasn't touched, was it? It was the Boxnaught's gone. Now the Ironclad will be gone, but the Venerable one will still be available. And do we reckon... I mean, they're going to keep the Blood Angels special ones, aren't they? They're not going to chuck... They're not going to chuck the Death Company Dread and the other one that I can never... The Furioso Dreadnought. They're not going to scrap those, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, Assault Squad, they've got to be coming up with a separate... like a Primaris version of that. Just removing jump troops. Like, close combat jump troops disappearing for Space Marines all out. Mad. That would be mental. Why would you do it? Why would you do that? It seems like such a bad idea. There's so many, like, cool flavour things just vanishing for that. The Company Command. Does anyone use that? Does anyone use a company? I don't think I've seen anyone use a Company Command for I don't know how long. I've seen people buy them and paint them, but I don't think I've ever played anyone who's actually used Company Command. That could just be down to the limited pool of people I play, though, so don't take that as gospel, but maybe they're just going to update Scouts? Maybe they're just going to update them? Because it feels weird to lose Scouts completely. That would actually suck. If for no reason other than, like, a narrative element. Like, having Scouts on the field learning how to be Space Marines, that's a... I don't know, it feels like an actual important part of the process. So for them to remove that would be a little bit naff, and then not replace it. Maybe just better scaled? More up to date? Maybe that's what it would be? I don't know. The Librarian, again, not surprising. Tech Marine, not surprising. Thunderfire, not surprising. I wonder if they would replace the Thunderfire, though. It seems unlikely. I think the Thunderfire is just dead. I think the Thunderfire... Of all of them, I think Thunderfire is dead and buried. Librarian and Tech Marine already have Primaris versions. Company Command, dead and buried. There's no point with that. Yeah, I mean, jump intercessors. I'm amazed they haven't done it anyway. But I feel like the little statement up here where it's like you jump lads. Yeah, so while assault squads are going away, you can still use the rules for Vanguard veterans to play with them. I think that's just a red herring, and they're gonna throw the assault intercessors in, and then you'll just be able to use assault squads as assault intercessors. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good indication of what we're gonna see from the next preview, if nothing else. Like, it's not surprising because they've already started doing it. They've already started removing firstborn stuff in some respects, and if it's already got a Primaris variant, then it's just going to be phased out, and you can just use them as whatever. I mean, that was the whole thing about Fire Strike turret. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good point. I totally forgot about the Fire Strike, but yeah, that feels like a. I don't know. Does it fulfill the same role? I can't remember. I've never used either, honestly. Mind you, my lists are so stupid that I don't I don't actually have that many sensible armies. But like, yeah, when you just look at the list, it's like, okay, well, there's already Primaris, bikes, speeders, dreadnoughts, librarian, tech marine, thunderfire cannon. The rest could be easily replaced with something else. Easily. Just updated versions. So that's not surprising at all. Not surprising. Now, the sucky thing would be if it was a case of, well, you just can't use your firstborn models for anything, but the fact that they are specifically calling out to use them as different things is obviously the right thing to do. Like, collections built up over years, and there will still be plenty of people who don't want to buy Primaris stuff. Now, admittedly, if it comes to, like, I want to start a firstborn White Scars army, you're out of luck. You're out of luck because bike squads, attack bikes, and scout bike squads are going away, and they will be gone away forever. The chances of them coming back is extremely slim. Maybe for like a limited May to order run, but that seems incredibly unlikely, to be honest. I can see them doing it for like characters and the like, but I don't know that that's something they would approach for doing things like bike squads and stuff like that. But I'm not surprised. I mean, they first moved. Primaris arrived with a distinct, different feel to them in terms of the height difference, in terms of the background, and in terms of the extra wound. Then Firstborn Marines were just given that extra wound, and from that point on, I've just continually felt like, well, they're going to keep merging them until only one remains, and it's not going to be the Firstborn Marines. Those are not the ones that are going to still be around when like the entire line is eventually completely refreshed. It's going to be the Primaris stuff. You know, notable characters are being updated to Primaris. Things like the different Dreadnought variants that we've had access to as Firstborn, they have slowly been replaced with Redemptor versions of those. I mean, we've got a close combat, we've got a mix, and we've got a ranged-only Redemptor now. So that covers basically what the Firstborn ones could do. So it's just been a slow replacement, hasn't it? But it's just for quite a long time. We've been so used to being able to get both that it's like, oh god, they're getting rid of this. But then again, you don't need a bike squad and an outrider squad for sale at the same time because they do the same thing. They are functionally identical. So why would you bother? And they're not going to want to. Because by this point, the people who are buying Primaris stuff, I would argue, vastly outweigh the ones who are only buying Firstborn. So it's not surprising that it's happened. I don't like the timing of it. I don't think the timing is good because they made a big song and dance about removing stuff out of the Space Marine range to make it easier to balance when they had all these redundancies in there that you just don't need. Then you had like the whole index cards being printed with stuff that they've now said, well, yeah, we're getting rid of these because you can just use them for Primaris stuff. Well, you could have given people a little bit more of a heads up and got them used to that idea before the Codex arrived by implementing it for the index stuff. But they didn't, which doesn't quite sit right. And it's not going to have been a snap decision. They will have known they're doing this. And the timeline of it is a bit naff. But yeah. Feels weird to have it confirmed, though. Genuinely feels a bit weird to have it confirmed. Like, some of this stuff has been around for so long. Like, so long. Has the bike squad even at any point been updated since, like, the one that was in, like, 3rd edition when I started playing? Like, is there anything different about it? I don't know that there is. And it feels weird to see all these models that have been a constant all the way through playing to suddenly go. Feels very odd, but at the same time, they make new models so that they can sell new models to make more money. So, of course, they're going to get rid of them. Of course they are. It just feels weird. And I don't know that I like how old it makes me feel, but I suppose that's a me problem, not a GW problem. Oh. Ravenwing Knights are newer. Okay. Well, we were wondering whether we were going to get a video out of the stream, and we have. we have now got that, so. Venerable Redemption on the way. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I don't think so. That seems unlikely. Give me my characters on bikes. Well, yeah, they should have characters on bikes. It's silly that they don't. Space Marine Neophyte Kill Team would be solid. That would be fun. Yeah, that's quite the shock. I bet people are not happy. I bet people are not happy. The newest old bikes with the 3 in the Dark Vengeance box. Jesus, that was a while ago, wasn't it? That was a while ago. So there's so many old models that are going away. So many old models that are going away.
As a newcomer to 40k, Space Marines feels bloated to me. So I'm personally happy that more Firstborn are going away, since having that many models in the book really messes with the internal balance.
That's totally fair. That is totally fair, Alec Man. It's absolutely fair. Thank you very much for the super chat. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I've lost count of how many times I've complained on the channel about how bloated the Space Marine range is. I've genuinely lost count. It happens constantly. Because it is. It's horrendously bloated. It's just so much crap that is repeated, and you don't need it repeated. Ever since they added Primaris, but insisted on sticking by Firstborn for as long as possible, the range as a whole has been absolutely just hilariously over full of redundant models that you don't need anymore. And the thing is, it's like there are plenty of people who still prefer Firstborn, and that's totally fine. Like, it's a subjective thing. If you prefer Firstborn, you prefer Firstborn. That's not like, I'm not going to judge anyone for that, because it's just personal preference. And it's fine. It's absolutely fine. You have your preference. But at the same time, those who do prefer Firstborn have been kind of pushed into a rough place by Games Workshop's relentless refusal to not get rid of parallel Space Marine lines. Like, when they introduced Outriders, why didn't they say, bikes are going? Sorry, but bikes are going. You have Outriders. They are the same thing. We know they're the same thing. You know they're the same thing. We're getting rid of bikes. Instead of running them parallel for how long? How long have Outriders been a thing? I mean, yeah, Outriders are more expensive, but Games Workshop don't care about that. They don't care about the fact that the primary stuff is more expensive for the same number of models. That's not important to them. But what should be important to them is not having a massively bloated, semi-redundant product line. Like, they're the ones who did it. And it's obviously the customer is the one who suffers, because it means that Space Marines get so much more attention, and they get so much more in the way of balance updates, and they have to have all this extra care because of the fact that it's so bloated, which is a problem that Games Workshop have made for themselves, but they've also seemingly not wanted to just pull the plug on stuff that there is a direct correlation to another kit for ages, and it's just bizarre. So 3 years, yeah. So basically for 3 years you've had bikes and Outriders. in the same range doing the same thing. It's totally pointless. It's totally pointless. In a way, it's good for the consumer because the bikes were cheaper, but in terms of the overall play experience and in terms of like the over-representation of Marines, it's not good. So, and now I'm just checking because I'm pretty sure the Thunderfire cannon is resin, but I can't remember. Yeah, finely detailed resin cast. Oh god, 31 components. 31 components, and it's fine. Oh god. Well, that's the other thing as well. Like in a way, I do also understand why they've kind of left the range as full as it is, and that's because they don't want to upset people by just wiping out existing models that people use. You know, they don't want to do that. But on the other hand, if you just do what they said here, which is okay, look, like bikes are going away, but you just use them as outriders, then you still get to use your models. It's still legal, it's still fine, you can still use them. It's no problem. People still get to use. The problem when it comes to phasing out stuff is not the phasing out necessarily. It's whether or not they can still be used by the people who bought them. Now, if they can still be used by the people who bought them, phasing out is fine. It's just one of those things that happens. It's when they become unusable that it's a problem. Legends goes some way to addressing that. Like, Legends goes quite a considerable way to addressing that and making it so that, you know, yeah, you can't use it in competitive, which does suck. But, on the other hand, they still have rules. They might not be updated all the time, but they do have rules. And it really feels like that should be, when it comes to phasing stuff out, if there is something it can count as, just count it as that. Put that down as official policy. The official stance is you can use this as that, and it is fully tournament legal. Do that. Do that. I think it's a case of not only wanting to extend the financial gain of said lines of models, but also not having on-sprue loadouts the same between Firstborn and Primaris, so you couldn't name transfer. Well, that's the thing. I think initially, I really want to know. I really want to know whether this was the plan all along, or whether something shifted at some point, because they introduced Primaris as their own thing, as their own separate thing, right? Like, they were a different type of Space Marine, which didn't go down well for, like, in the community as a whole. And then they brought Firstborn in line with Primaris Marine effectively by adding that extra wound on. And then they introduced models, like, one at a time or so, that were like, is it Primaris or is it not? Well, we don't know. Like, it's clearly always been intended to be a range refresh. They've wanted to do that for a while. But I wonder whether the kind of slow amalgamation is something that was born out of, well, people are getting unhappy about the Firstborn stuff being removed, or whether that was always part of the plan. Because obviously, the Space Marine stuff, it's the best-selling stuff that they have, so they need to refresh it, and they need to add new stuff, and they need to get rid of old stock, and they need to stop printing old models. They need to actually keep it fresh and new. But it's the execution of it that I'm curious as to whether it's still the original plan or whether something's changed. Things like the new Terminators. They're new Terminators. They're just new Terminators. Yeah, exactly, Ruskin says. So the new Terminators are just new Terminators. No mention of Firstborn or Primaris. It's almost as though it never mattered in the first place. It's almost as though it never mattered. And doesn't matter. And the intention was just to replace everything, and then they gave it a story for some reason. Like, there was that same thing with the what was it called? The model that was based on that, like, iconic artwork ages ago. Was it a Black Templars model? But they were just like, there was no hint as to what it was. The Castellan, that's it. The Castellan, right? This thing here, it's neither. You can do what you like. They like didn't say whether it was Primaris, whether it was Firstborn. The scale is more Primaris, but the armor style is more Firstborn. And when pressed on it, when they were like, when someone was like, is it Primaris or is it Firstborn? They were just like, it's the Castellan. So, okay, what do you mean? It's the Castellan. That's it. It's the Castellan. Shut up. Don't need to ask. It's just the Castellan. And that was the answer. And it's like, okay, right. Well, I guess it's a Castellan then. We haven't been given any actual. No, was it the Marshal the same? Castellan Grove. I think the Castellan is. So the Marshal. Yeah, I don't know if the Marshal is even listed as one or the other, is it? Yeah, it literally just says Marshals. Space Marine, Marshals. There's no indication either way. Which again, someone says though it doesn't matter. That's the main thing. Doesn't matter. But yeah, I would love to see what the overall plan was. So yeah, I'm not surprised. Right, that was a good bit of news to finish off on. I've recorded that, so that will be a video later on in the day. Remember, I'm going to keep hammering it home. Wednesday, we're doing a big stream. We're doing a really long stream. We're doing like a proper 7-hour stream or something. Painting some Leman Russes. You should come and join me because it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be fun. You can get some hobby done, or at the very least, I can keep you distracted during work so you're not losing your mind. Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to go and get something to eat because I was about to wrap it up until we had that bit of news. So, yeah. I will see you all for the next one. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much, new members and super chats. Very, very much appreciated. And yeah, I will see you on Wednesday. I hope you have a good week until then. Toodaloo.